Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Ashley's Treasure, and today I am working on that Peter Rabbit journal, and I am playing. This is going to be all about trim and lace. I'm going to be adding this trim to my pages, and I'm ironing it because it was originally on this little cardboard, and you can see how it has all those fold marks. So I got my iron out to iron them, and I have it on a very low setting because I wasn't 100% sure what this trim was made out of. I want to make sure it didn't melt. So yes, I just kept going through to keep trying to straighten it. I kept flipping it back and forth trying to get those wrinkles out. It was driving me nuts. I probably should have set it a little bit higher, but again, I wanted to be careful, making sure it didn't like melt or something because I wasn't sure what it was made out of. Normally, this is what I keep mine on so that it won't leave that mark. This trim was very unique because it had like 3 sewing on it, strips of sewing, like stitches on it, and I really liked that. And for how I'm going to use it on my pages, I really like it. I'm going to fold it in half so it looks like it's sewn on. And that's the other reason why I got my iron up, so that it would be easier to add onto the pages. So I'm going to fold it in half, iron it that way, and then slide it onto the pages throughout the journal. So I just, keep lining it up just right and just sliding it underneath the iron. And it's blinking because that tells me that it's going to start turning off. It's like automatic so that you don't like burn your clothing that you're ironing. But again, I had it on a very low setting. It was just enough to keep it folded in half like I want it to. And so I'm just kind of like lining it up and kind of like flossing it in a way to make sure that it's will stay that way so that I can add it onto the page I want. Makes it a lot easier. And here is the spine I'm using. I using on the spine, and this is the lace that I used. And I was debating on using that for the pages, but so that it would match, but it was just like too white, and I have like too many different shades of white going on, which made it kind of complicating. And so I really liked this one though, and I was gonna put that on the pages, but again, it's too much white going on. And so that's why I thought, because I didn't add any really colored pages besides the 2 scrapbook pages, and so that's why I decided to use the trim. And I forgot that I was originally going to do that because I put sticky notes on which 4 pages I was gonna do it on, and I'm doing it on this grid paper that I dyed, and I used Distress Spray ink, and this is where it turned out kind of purpley-ish. And so I'm going to do 4 of them because I put 2 grid pages in the 2 different signatures, so there's 4 pages. I'm going to do it on all 4. And I was debating, oh yeah, this is my fabric tack glue. The ball on the tip of the needle came off, and so glue was oozing out, and it's inside that big blob of dried up glue. I'm so frustrated. So I need to find another stainless steel needle that I can put in there. A little frustrated about that. But right now the big blob of glue is working and no more is leaking out currently that I know of. So yeah, I definitely have to go hunting for some more. It's really hard to find some because it doesn't really say on the packaging if they're stainless steel or not, so that they don't rust. Because originally that's not what they're for. They're for sewing. But Anyways, the trim, I was going to just put it straight on there and cut it, but then I was afraid that I wouldn't line it up right and then the last piece wouldn't be long enough. So I folded it into four and cut them into four pieces so that they're all the exact same length. So I know for sure that the last one won't be too short on me. So I'm lining up to make sure it'll fit and there's enough for on there because it's not the exact measurement. There's going to be a little bit on the top and off hanging off. I just wanted to make sure that there was enough. And at the eventually I think I'm going to clip them off, the excess. But I'm just taking my Fabri-Tac glue and lining up on the page and carefully putting the trim on there, the yellow trim. And I didn't want it exactly against where the fold is, the seam. So I wanted like a little bit of gap. So I just wanted it like halfway on there. And the glue was drying like super fast. So I had to like peel some of it off. And the tip of the ribbon was already like glued together. I was starting to get frustrated because like everything was drying too fast. But I fixed it. You know, Fabri-Tac glue is really easy to work with. When it's dry, you can just rub it right off. And so I did that and added some more. And finally I got it lined up right. The first time I did this, I was just struggling. But the very last one, I finally found an easier way. But I wanted it to only be on there halfway. So it's like a quarter of however wide that ribbon is how much I wanted it onto the page. So it has like a little bit of bounce to it, as you can see right there. So what would you say, like 1/16 of an inch on there, maybe? And then I flipped the page over and just add onto the glue, and just as I put the glue on, kind of pressing the trim down. That part was easier. It's always the first time putting the ribbon on was kind of hard. Now I'm just pressing it down really good and making sure it's all stuck well and there's no air bubbles in there. And rubbing off the excess glue. You can see there's a little bit hanging off from the top and bottom. Now I'm finding my second page. I would have sewn this on, and that's why I kind of like this specific ribbon, because it has that stitch look on it, so it looks like it's sewn on, but it's not. I have no sewing going on in this journal, and also the reason why I haven't been able to finish my snail journal was because I was in the middle of sewing everything, doing all that on all my pages. And my sewing machine was actually one of my grandmother's. It's a very old sewing machine. And she was terrible with the cord. She wouldn't, correctly pull it out. She would like yank the cord. And so the plug-in part is so worn out. Like, she's gone through so many where she had to replace it. She was with that with everything. It was just one of her quirky little things. It drove everybody nuts. But I was using it, and then one of the times I was going to plug it in, but I saw that the metal part, I don't know what you would call it. Is it like the tooth of the plug? I don't know. But it was on the floor. It came apart. So I need to go hunting for a new one. I've never done it personally, but I've seen her go through so many of them. I was searching, which store has them, and I couldn't find any at Menards, but it looks like Home Depot has some, so I need to go there and try finding one and see if I can replace it so I can use my grandmother's sewing machine again. I miss using it. And so, yeah, that's why I haven't been able to finish my snail journal, and that's why this one I'm just kind of like having fun and not doing, I'm not necessarily planning anything. I'm just kind of going with the flow, just so I can do some artsy stuff because it's been driving me nuts. But yeah, that's why this journal has no sewing in it. Everything's just glued pretty much. But I like that yellow ribbon because it makes it look like there's sewing when there really isn't. And also it was nice using the yellow ribbon because it added some color, because again, none of the pages were colored. They're all, you know, dyed or from books. The only ones that had some color was the scrapbook paper. And then the last one, and this one, instead of gluing the paper first, I glued the ribbon first, which is found out this was a lot easier. So I just glue at the very edge of the trim, and then because you know how I only want it like halfway on there, so this was a lot easier. And I did the back part first instead of the top. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera a little. And then, you know, I just slide the page on it, and only as far as I wanted to. It's only halfway there. It was so much easier. I should have done this from the beginning and just smooth it out. And then everything's lined up right. Although I kind of got some glue oozed in the back and was trying to get on the other page. But again, Fabri-Tac is so easy to fix. It just comes right off. And then just add the glue on the page and fold it over. It was so much easier and faster this way. So if I ever do this again, I'll have to glue it on that way. And now I have them all done. I kind of like that feeling. That's why I was debating if I should trim that off or not. But it starts coming unraveled, so I think I'm going to need to very carefully add glue on the tip so that it won't unravel. And now it's time to do the spine. Originally I made it to do this way, where the yellow lace was going to be on the bottom, and then, or the yellow ribbon was going to be on the bottom, and then the white lace was going to be on top. But I actually like it the other way around, where the yellow is on top of the white lace. So I keep debating back and forth the way I originally made it or this way, and I like the yellow on top more, so that's the way I'm going to do it. And so again, just putting Fabri-Tac on it. And then I have these little pink like things you put on the tip of your finger. It's originally made for when you're using hot glue gun so that you don't burn your finger, because it's like the silicone things. And I thought it would be a way to rub glue on it, because I always get glue all over my finger, which I should have used one on my left hand too, but I didn't think of it at the time. I was only using my right hand because I was using it to smooth the glue down so that it wouldn't be bubbly, because the, you know, the yellow ribbon isn't that thick. And so and you know, Fabri-Tac glue, it's kind of dries kind of like hot glue gun does, you know, like it kind of gives that bumpiness to it unless you smooth it out. So that's why I was using that. And then I was trying to keep this page shut, or the book shut, and I those pins were too small. I couldn't get the whole page in there, so I got a brand new hair tie, and I could just stretch it enough to get all the pages in there so it would stay shut, and it worked. Because it was driving me nuts, because I was trying to glue the spine on and it just wouldn't hold still. It kept wobbling and everything, and I didn't want it to. I wanted to be the book shut all the way so that when I glue the spine on, it would be on there correctly and lined up correctly, because when it's different when it's open than when it's shut. And so I needed it shut so that it would be glued all the way, and there wouldn't be like you know, like a space gap, you know, air gap in between it, so everything would be adhered correctly. And so I'm just slowly working my way down, because Fabri-Tac glue does dry pretty quick. And so I'm just putting some down and then smoothing it out with my little silicone fingertip thing. And it actually worked pretty good, because the glue doesn't stick on the silicone, on the little finger thing I got. So it actually worked pretty good. And I actually found some at the Dollar Tree. So yeah, if you find some there, I would recommend getting some. It actually worked pretty good. And then just finishing off the tip. So yeah, I went the yellow part first, and then I'm going to start gluing the white lace down. Although now thinking about it, because having, the white laces on the side, they do have a little bit of dimension, and they're a lot thicker compared to that thin yellow ribbon. And so I probably should have put some sort of white strip down the center so that it would be the same, dimension, because you can see how that yellow goes in, and also because it's kind of you can slightly see through it, so you can still see, like the title of the book through it. So I didn't think of that till now. If I do that again, if I use a ribbon like that you can slightly see through, I probably would have got like a white strip of fabric or something and put that down in there, so that it would all be an even layer, and so that way you can't see through it. But I'm just going down, working my way down, making sure that there's glue all over the lace, but I'm doing it on the lace because, all the little holes, so I'm trying to get it just on the actual, lace itself, and because it's going to goo out anyways, and carefully pressing it down and making sure it's all stuck well. And this is where I should have put one of those little pink fingertips on my left one because I had glue all over my finger. And there are little spots where it did goo out, the glue gooed out a little bit, but that is okay because if you let it dry, the Fabri-Tac, it comes right off. You can peel it right off, the extra glue. Tied to the front, and now I'm working on the back, and I should have probably put some like wax paper underneath because of it, I was gluing the lace down, or at least let it dry or something, because how the glue goes through the lace and all those little holes, so it was getting onto my glass mat and it was like kind of smearing a little bit, but luckily it didn't it smeared on the glass but not on the book, which I lucked out because then there would have been glue all over the cover of the book. So I probably should have waited and let it dry and then do the other side, but I was on a mission and I didn't want to stop. And that's why I thought that maybe if I put some wax paper down, maybe it wouldn't spread or smear, but I wasn't thinking and aware of it at the time. And then finally, I kind of like how it turned out. So, again, I was getting my, there's glue all over. So I got my blades out to get all of the glue off of my glass, which is really easy. But I think I'm going to stop here because I did a lot more. I was up really late that night. I was up till like 6 in the morning. I didn't realize it was that late. Like I was like in like an art crazy phase. Like I couldn't stop. Everybody was asleep. So that's why my lighting's a little off. But after this, I started working back on that little trifold that I made, and I added a lot more stuff in there. So I think I'm going to do that in a second video. So I think I'm going to end here and edit that part. So stay tuned so you can see all the extra parts that I did to the trifold. I'll talk to you later. Bye.